First of all, I would like to thank you, sir, for providing StockDaddy this opportunity to discuss this particular scenario of the budget, upcoming budget. And basically, we would like to thank Ambareesh Baliga, sir. And he basically took out his precious time to talk about this important subject matter. And many of the people who are looking forward to the budget are having a different kind of expectations. And we are having a great growth story about India also that we are continuously hearing right now. So अमरीश सर, थोड़ा सा मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा कि आपके क्या व्यूज हैं इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी को लेकर.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for giving me this opportunity. It's my pleasure to be there on your show. India का growth opportunity लेके तो I don't think there are any two thoughts on that. I mean, I think जो golden period है India का, I think that is what we should be witnessing over the next couple of years. Maybe the next one decade should be India's decade.
Right.
Because if you're looking at most of the other developed nations,
right,
I mean, there we are talking of a slowdown or even a recession in 2023.
Yes.
India में तो कोई तो recession का तो बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. Slowdown का भी यदि बात करते हैं, then it will still be a very small slowdown. In the sense, if you are expecting to grow at about 7 to 8%, so 7 to 8% ka comes down to 6.5%. Yes, that's a slowdown, but that's not a major slowdown.
Right.
जिस हिसाब से हम लोग का जो young population है, consuming population है, working population है, I think we got one of the best demographics.
Yes.
And the most important ingredient in all these is a stable government. And a forward-looking government which wants to ensure that India comes on the top.
Right. So कहीं ना कहीं ये कहा जा सकता है सर कि पर्टिकुलरली अगर हम बात करते हैं अदर कंट्रीज में, डेवलपिंग नेशंस में रिसेशन की, तो वो एक लिक्विडिटी इंपैक्ट थोड़ा सा कर सकती है इंडिया को. अदरवाइज इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी बहुत पॉजिटिव नजर आए.
नहीं, लिक्विडिटी इंपैक्ट भी होगा, आई थिंक टेम्पररीली. या आई मीन फॉर एग्जांपल जब इंटरेस्ट रेट्स बढ़ रहे थे, अभी तो मोरलेस वी आर क्लोज टू द टॉप, मे बी वी मे हैव वन और टू मोर रेट हाइक्स. But I mean, when the interest rates were going up, the rupee was depreciating to a certain extent. उस वक्त हम लोग देख रहे थे कि FIs are preferring to take the money out and invest back maybe in US or other developing nations. I mean, it was basically a flight to safety. But then, at the end of the day, the liquidity has to flow. जहाँ पे जो भी markets आपको better return दे रही है, वहाँ पे flow करेगी automatically. So over a period of time, you'll see that money again coming back here. क्योंकि यदि वहाँ पे बन नहीं रहा है profits, तो you have to look at markets which will perform well. And Indian markets clearly will be there among those.
Apart from this, sir, जैसा कि हमने अभी recently सुना है, कोविड में फोर्थ वेव जो चाइना में देखी जा रही है, सो क्या कहीं इसका इम्पैक्ट अभी आने वाले बजट के हेल्थ प्रिपरेशंस में और कहीं ना कहीं हेल्थ सेक्टर में जो रिसोर्सेज डेविएट हो रहे हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस मार्केट्स में, तो इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या देखते हैं आप? आपको क्या लगता है, व्हाट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ दोस थिंग्स?
देखो, उसका तो इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. Because it was more localized in China, and to a certain extent they have also taken I think I mean good sort of preparation they have done right now. So I don't see that really affecting much. And if you're talking of another wave of COVID in India, I think we are decently well prepared. I mean, most of our citizens are vaccinated. Awareness काफी high है. And I think even our institutions are very well prepared, especially after the first two waves. So I'm not really worried about any further waves in India. But I mean, such huge waves maybe elsewhere, like for example, जो China में हुआ था, and in case it happens going ahead, it will have some effect on the rest of the world. I mean, just basically because someone like a China has enormous influence on the international trade and commerce. तो उसका थोड़ा बहुत इफेक्ट आएगा, but it will not be too much.
Again, by the same logic, what is happening, अगर चाइनीज मार्केट्स में लोगों का कॉन्फिडेंस शेक हो रहा है, अगर कहीं ना कहीं डेवलप नेशंस का, so the next best option available is India, because और कोई कंट्री उतने emerging rate से सामने नहीं आ रही है.
Exactly, because see this, I mean, like whatever issues they have faced in the past, and they may face going ahead because of this, China plus one will play out extremely well for India. अभी हम लोग देखा है कि China Plus One has played out extremely well in the specialty chemical space in the
Right.
last 2 to 3 years. It is playing out well basically in the light engineering space.
Right.
So I think this will happen across, even textiles, maybe it's playing out. So I think it will play out well across various sectors, and that will be very beneficial for India.
सर बेसिकली अगर मैं मार्केट्स की रैली की बात करूं, सो अभी एक काफी अच्छा खासा रैली हमने देखा था प्रीवियस कुछ दिनों में. आज थोड़ा सा मार्केट्स काफी करेक्ट होते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं. सो आपको क्या लगता है, प्री बजट रैली ऑलरेडी आ चुकी है या बजट का एक और इम्पैक्ट आने वाला है, अभी एक और रैली क्रिएट होने वाली है अपसाइड पर?
देखो, there is no pre-budget rally इस बार. I think we have already seen outperformance. Indian markets का outperformance last 7 महीने में देखा है हम लोगों ने, जून 2022 से to नवंबर दिसंबर तक. अभी लास्ट 1-1.5 महीने से हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि we have been more or less range bound. 17,800 Nifty on the lower side, upper side 18,200, 18,400 it is not able to cross. तो वो जो बैंड है 18,200 to 400 का, वो काफी बड़ा रेजिस्टेंस बैंड है. So it's basically hovering in this, 400 to 600 points sort of a range. So इसमें यदि थोड़ा बहुत रैली आता है, we really can't call that a pre-budget rally. Yes. So I mean, like my feeling is that although we have a few more days left, I don't see any pre-budget rally at all.
Okay. So basically, अगर मैं कहूँ बजट के बाद, so बजट के बाद का आउटलुक आपको कैसा नजर आता है?
If I go back about 10-15 years, then budget really made a huge difference, and we used to call some of the budgets extremely pathetic budget, or थोड़े budgets जो आए थे वो dream budgets थे, and that changed the complete view on the markets. So a budget would actually be a trigger for a bull market or a bear phase.
Right.
But abhi, if you see in the last couple of years, especially last 8 to 10 years, most of these budgets have been non-events. क्योंकि काफी जो डिसीजन मेकिंग होता है गवर्नमेंट का, it is now happening outside the budget. And especially post the GST era, after GST started off, there is that much of less decisions taken in the budget. So it is more of an account and more of a thought process of what is there in the government's mind going ahead. I think that is what the budget shows than how it was earlier. So we don't see much of an effect because of the budget, either positive or negative, on the markets beyond 2 or 3 days. So from that point of view, it's a non-event. And even this time, I don't think it'll be too different.
Okay, so basically the scenario will be the, like you said, जो levels आपने भी बताए उनको carefully हम watch कर सकते हैं, and कहीं ना कहीं अभी markets जैसे range bound show कर रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं budget एक बहुत बड़ा trigger कोई movement के लिए नहीं बनने वाला है अभी आने वाले.
Exactly.
Basically sir, आपको क्या लगता है आने वाले budget में जो traders हैं, जो stock market participants हैं, क्या उनको कोई tax relief मिलने के chances हैं?
Tax relief शायद नहीं मिले, और शायद tax भी ज्यादा नहीं होंगे. I think it will be status quo.
Okay.
Because making any changes in the sense increasing the taxes, capital gains tax या जो भी हो, I think it will be like killing a golden goose.
Yes.
Because capital market gives taxes from multiple sources.
Right.
एक तो है STT, Securities Transaction Tax,
right.
Capital Gains Tax है, और जो speculate करते हैं उनका तो business income हो जाता है, that's taxed at the highest slab.
Right.
Brokers are making huge profits, they are also paying a tax.
Right.
And more importantly, because of the buoyant capital market, even the government is able to make divestments, and they're earning from that, we have seen.
Right.
Companies are able to raise funds. That improves the economy overall, provides employment. So right. I don't think government will do anything to really disturb this.
Right.
And if you remember, when securities transaction tax was introduced in 2004, a long-term right. capital gains tax was abolished.
Okay.
Now they have reintroduced long-term capital gains about 3 years back with a grandfathering clause. So I really don't see them trying to milk it any further.
So basically, we are not expecting much of a relief, but ऐसा भी नहीं है कि वो taxes increase हो जाएं या कुछ और pressures बढ़ें.
In the sense, I don't see taxes decreasing nor increasing. I think it will be maintained status quo.
So basically, sir, जैसा अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि इकोनॉमी में इन्फ्लेशन देखने को मिला, पिछले कुछ ड्यूरेशन में थोड़ा बहुत करेक्शन देखने को मिला, बट इन्फ्लेशन किक इन कर चुका था प्रॉपरली. सो आपको क्या लगता है कि बजट में कोई ऐसे मेजर्स इंट्रोड्यूस होने वाले हैं जहां से हम इन्फ्लेशन को कॉम्पैक्ट कर सकें और अच्छे से?
देखो, I don't know how much the budget can actually do for inflation. Basically, see, India में जो inflation है, that is for two reasons. Overseas, I mean, what we have seen in US and developed countries, they try and tackle inflation by increasing the rates or reducing rates.
Right.
But India, I don't think that's going to work out. Basically, because, like I said, inflation is due to two major reasons in India. One is the oil-led inflation.
Yes.
This is something on which we never had any control.
Right.
So oil is the biggest import bill which we have.
Right.
However, lately, due to the Russia-Ukraine war, India got the advantage of getting oil from Russia at a discounted price.
Yes.
So the Russian oil in our basket, which was less than 2% earlier, has now gone to 16%. And I think it can go up more.
Right.
Secondly, the oil prices have softened compared to what it was about 8-9 months back.
Right.
Third and very important thing is the reign of US dollar as a petrocurrency. It's been the petrocurrency for the last 40 years.
Right.
But I think possibly it's in its last legs.
Okay.
And I think over the next few years, we should be able to buy oil using other currencies as well as possibly Indian rupee.
Right.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a major change going ahead. This can't happen overnight. This will happen over a period of time.
So
And
basically, again,
also,
we are kind of seeing the changing world order. Actually,
exactly.
you also mentioned this, that after every fixed period of time, there is a change in the world order. So
Absolutely,
कहीं ना
we should
कहीं
be
पर
seeing that. Yeah.
ये चीज देखने को मिल सकती है कि अब इंडियन रुपी जो है वो भी वैल्यू गेन करना स्टार्ट करें इन टर्म्स ऑफ बाइंग ऑयल. ये एक बहुत बड़ा शिफ्ट होगा. ये एक करेंसी का डोमिनेशन जो है वो थोड़ा सा ब्रेक हो.
Yeah. And the other thing is that our consumption of oil, I think, should plateau out quite soon as we are increasing mixing of ethanol in petrol. So right now is about 10%, that is going to about 20% over the next 2-3 years. That should help reduce the oil requirement, and also the introduction of EV progressively over the next few years.
Right.
So I'm not saying oil consumption will go down, but it should plateau out.
Right.
Oil consumption increase ho raha hai, that I think should plateau out. So looking at this, possibly the oil inflation could be a thing of the past over the next few years.
Yes.
And I don't see the budget being able to make too much of a difference due to this oil-led inflation.
Right.
जो दूसरा जो inflation का कारण है वो food है.
Right.
And the government has been working hard to ensure a balance between farmer income and the cost of the food on the table. So basically, the full chain of farm to fork, so that nobody is at a disadvantage. I mean, neither the farmer nor the final consumer.
Right.
Though the progress has been comparatively slow,
right.
I think the allocation for the food chain, especially the inputs, right, from fertilizers, seeds, and agrochem, as well as the supply chain, which includes the storage, including cold storage, I think all this should get slightly higher allocation in the budget.
Right. So basically, कहीं ना कहीं पर एक agricultural part बहुत strong होता हुआ नजर आ सकता है.
Absolutely.
Basically, what do you think, sir? क्या गवर्नमेंट इस बजट के अंदर डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट पे थोड़ा ज्यादा फोकस कर सकती है? जैसा हमने अभी पास्ट में देखा, बहुत सारी कंपनीज में काफी सारी चीजें डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट का प्रोसेस देखा गया, ऑलरेडी डाइल्यूशन हुआ है. सो क्या वो इंक्रीज हो सकता है अभी तक की अप्रोच गवर्नमेंट की देखते हुए हम बजट को अगर इस साल के देखें?
नहीं, मुझे तो लगता नहीं है, क्योंकि इफ यू सी वन एरिया वेयर द गवर्नमेंट हैज कंसिस्टेंटली फेल्ड इज द डाइवर्समेंट टारगेट्स.
राइट.
इवन लास्ट ईयर it was lower. I mean, the year before last was 1,75,000 crores. Last year was 65,000 crores.
Okay.
And as of now, they have barely been able to cross 31,000 crores.
Right.
So I assume that divestment targets will be maintained the same, maybe 65 to 75,000 crores, which may include BPCL and IDBI Bank. BPCL का जो हम लोग बात करें 2 साल पहले, which was shelved. Okay. I think that should happen this year.
Okay.
So, including both these, it should be about 65 to 75,000 crores.
सर बेसिकली अगर हम टैक्स स्लैब्स की बात करें तो लोगों के बहुत सारे एक्सपेक्टेशंस आए. आई वाज चेकिंग सेवरल रिपोर्ट्स एंड वहां पर कहीं ना कहीं लोगों के एक्सपेक्टेशन शो किए जा रहे थे कि कहीं ना कहीं टैक्स स्लैब्स में बहुत ज्यादा रिलीफ के चांसेस हैं. इवन सीनियर सिटीजन्स के लिए तो कहा ही जा रहा है, बट कहीं ना कहीं एक नॉर्मल सिटीजन के लिए भी कहीं ना कहीं एक्सपेक्टेशन बढ़ी हुई है इस बार टैक्स स्लैब्स को लेकर कि उनको और ज्यादा रिलीफ मिलने के चांसेस हैं. सो आपके क्या व्यूज है सर इस चीज?
No, which I think is very much possible, क्योंकि मैंने काफी सालों से उन्होंने ज्यादा चेंज नहीं किया है,
Right.
except for giving that option
Right.
to the taxpayers to what they want to choose, which was done about 2 years back.
Right.
But looking at the direct tax collections, it's about 24% higher April to November FY23.
Yes.
And we should see about 18% growth this year.
Okay.
CGST also has, exceeded the expectations by about 1.4 lakh crores.
Right.
Only thing which has come down is excise duty, which
Okay.
is not too high, so that's fine. So when we have healthy corrections, and especially in the last 2-3 years, we have seen, middle class being hit first with COVID issues, which has
Yes.
actually hit the middle and the marginal classes. And we have seen recently inflation hitting them.
Right.
So I think there should be some sort of a SOP by the government, and that will come as possibly the slabs getting increased. So
Yes.
I do see slabs going up from 2.5 to 4 lakhs.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and possibly we should see some benefits in ATC, ATCCD. All
Yes.
these should increase a bit.
Yeah. Basically, I've seen this also in many reports. कहीं ना कहीं ATC को लेकर और CCD को लेकर भी काफी expectation है लोग के.
Yeah.
बेसिकली दैट इज अ गुड साइन. अगर ये चीज हो जाती है तो कहीं ना कहीं जो आपने बताया कि जो इन्फ्लेशन और कोविड का जो हिट मिला है मिडिल क्लास को, कहीं
Yeah.
ना कहीं उससे एक रिलीफ मिल सकता है.
Exactly. Exactly.
सर, आर वी एक्सपेक्टिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ सरप्राइजेस इन दिस बजट?
Like I said, the days of the dream budget and all that is over.
Yes.
So I don't see any surprises as such. And like I said, it'll be more of a sort of a non-event. जो
ओके.
आया हम लोग सुने और चला गया बस.
चला गया. राइट. सो कहीं ना कहीं ये छोटे मोटे रिलीफ्स एंड कहीं ना कहीं जो प्लानिंग का कंटिन्यूएशन है वो तो चलेगा, बट कोई एक बड़ा सरप्राइज हम एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because see, during the year there are so many announcements which come. There are large schemes which are being announced during the year. So one need not really wait for the budget to announce all that.
यस. सो कहीं ना कहीं ये स्ट्रक्चर बन चुका है कि पॉलिसी चेंजेस और पॉलिसी अपडेशंस कहीं ना कहीं थ्रू आउट द ईयर इतने आते रहते हैं और
Exactly.
कंटिन्यूस हो रहे
Yeah.
हैं.
And in a way it's much better that way. क्योंकि
यस.
आपको मैंने पूरे एक साल वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा for all these announcements.
यस.
You are rolling it out, you are planning and rolling it out as and when required.
यस. सो दैट्स अ गुड साइन फॉर आवर इकोनॉमी.
Exactly.
इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द बजट 2023, सो कहीं ना कहीं हर सेक्टर का अपना एक एक्सपेक्टेशन होता है सर. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि किस सेक्टर के लिए ये बजट बहुत ज्यादा बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटीज लेकर आने वाला है?
See, this budget, in fact, could be more, for the export-oriented sector.
Okay.
क्योंकि जो मेक इन इंडिया का जो प्रोग्राम है,
Right.
that's not only for making in India and utilizing it in India, but also for exports.
Right.
I think that's one sector which will really, benefit from this budget,
Right.
which will basically include, sectors like automobiles, engineering, pharma. So I think these 3 or 4 sectors should really benefit from this.
राइट. और कहीं ना कहीं ये सिनेरियो इसलिए भी काफी हैपन होता हुआ नजर आ सकता है क्योंकि जो हमने भी चाइना का सिनेरियो डिस्कस किया उसकी वजह से, जैसा भी हमने डिस्कस किया था कि इंडियन मार्केट्स आर द बेस्ट ऑप्शन. तो कहीं ना कहीं अगर वर्ल्ड की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है वर्ल्ड मार्केट्स की, अगर उसको हम मीट अप कर पाते हैं तो एक्सपोर्ट्स को अगेन उसमें बेनिफिट मिलना ही चाहिए. तभी कहीं
Exactly.
ना कहीं वो एक इंस्पिरेशन होगा उनके लिए और कहीं ना कहीं एक एनकरेजमेंट होगा तो मूव फर्दर विद दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. एंड कहीं ना कहीं सर हम ये भी देख रहे हैं कि स्टार्टअप्स को लेकर काफी डिस्कशन चल रहा है, कॉर्पोरेट को लेकर काफी डिस्कशन चल रहा है इस बजट 2023 के अंदर. सो आपको क्या लगता है, क्या कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स स्लैब में भी कोई चेंजेस एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं हम इस साल?
देखिए, like in the last couple of years, there have been a lot of changes made to the corporate tax slab. See, like it's been made, quite conducive. The environment is very conducive for the startups and the new corporates which are being set up. So I really don't see, too much of change out there. I think they will maintain it as it is. And we should remember that as far as the direct taxes are concerned, it's the corporate sector which actually contributes the maximum out there. So again, here I don't see any changes, in the sense I don't see it increasing. And the corporate tax at about 25%.
Right.
for these new companies, I think it's at the lowest. I don't think it would come down from there any further.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much, Ambareesh sir.
Thank you.
Basically, it was a very informative session and काफी कुछ चीजें सीखने को मिली आपसे. And apart from this, क्या expect कर सकते हैं बजट से? तो viewers को काफी help मिलेगी इस information से और कहीं ना कहीं वो prepared रह सकते हैं, whether they are going to invest, whether they are
Most
going to
welcome.
trade during the budget era. And thanks a lot for providing us this time, precious time of yours, and guiding us throughout the budget 2023. And we hope to see you further more time and collect these kind of information and share with our viewers. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. It's my pleasure.